Next is going to be a new game that we're talking about. And this is because the reason that we did this game is because Stinky Sox has been a game at Compose Create for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I was saying in the first webinar, it was one of our very first products that we ever sold, even before we sold music. And so it's been around for a long time. Students love it. They love to act out how stinky the sock is and play it. It's like a hot potato game. And then we developed Stinky Stockings for a holiday game. And then a couple of years ago, a teacher asked us, could you please develop something for Halloween? Because she said, I'd like to do this with my students, but I really want to have cards that work with all levels of my students. And I just didn't have time to develop it. And so I asked Amanda if she would be interested, and she was, and she has done an amazing job with creating the new game. So Amanda, tell us about the new Halloween version.
Thank you. So as Wendy said, Stinky Sox is a musical hot potato game. So the cards that students have to act out are in this Stinky Sox and they pass it around. And so this maintains that same Stinky Sock thing. Esther says that kids love it because she had students that just had a Christmas performance workshop and they played the game as an icebreaker and they loved it. They didn't want to stop. It was so much fun to watch the kids come together for the first time and interact with one another. The kids loved the acting tasks and finish a tune challenge, highly recommended for group lessons. And not just kids love it, teens also love it, which is very helpful when you're playing games that it could be used for both kids and teens. Rachel said, my high schoolers played this game using level 2 cards during our holiday group class this week and it was a huge hit. I wasn't sure how it would be received by a bunch of older teenagers, so I sweetened the deal with an Amazon gift card for the winner, and things got very competitive in the best way. We passed the stocking around so everyone would take turns, and it worked well. Highly recommend. And teachers love it because it is very easy to prepare. Robin said, my group class just played Stinky Stockings and begged to keep playing after they ate their pizza. We also played this or that as an icebreaker, which is another Compose Create game that you can find, and it was a hit. Thank you, Wendy Stevens. The prep was so easy with these games. And so Spooky Sox, again, follows the same thing, but it is specific to Halloween. So the cards all look Halloweenish and kind of creepy, and all of the questions have a definite Halloween tilt to them. And so there are 6 categories of cards, just like Stinky Sox or Stinky Stockings. It is playing, singing and guessing the tune, acting, theory, and Halloween riddle. Boo cards are cards that are just for fun because a theory game should not be just all theory. There should be some definite just fun in there. And then trick or treat cards, which are how students earn extra cards because the student with the most cards wins. And it's very easy to prep. Again, you just print out the Spooky Sox cards, and each level is going to be, you should print it on its own color of cardstock. That way, if you have younger students or more elementary level students playing with students that are more intermediate level, they know which color they are going to be picking out of the sock. You need a spooky sock. I just took an orange fuzzy sock that I had and cut out little ghosts and taped them on my sock. And then you need music. And our new Rhythm Cup accompaniment tracks are actually perfect for this because they're nice and short and they're very orchestral sounding. Some of them in there sound like they could be used for like a Halloween movie, which would be extra fun. And so an example of the playing card would be play 4 notes going up the piano as quietly as a ghost. Or there are cards that say to play things as angrily as a troll, or different Halloween actions. There's singing, so things like hum the tune of your Halloween piano piece. An example of the theory or Halloween riddles card would be, what do these 3 things have in common? Zombies, adagio, a traffic jam. And the answer to that would be they are all slow. And there are answers written on each of the levels, so that if you are looking at the riddle thinking, I'm not sure what they were going for here, you know what the answer is just in case. And then an example of an acting one would be, you're a ghastly ghost. Put a sheet over your head and act out the term crescendo and make us guess the word. And the students can give a hint to the other players, like I'm acting out a dynamic marking. And whoever guesses correctly gets a trick or treat card, and you get to keep this card. So there is a benefit to students interacting and engaging with one another that they can get extra cards as well. And then an example of the trick or treat card, as you can see here, it looks like a little pumpkin with a little treat coming out of it. Again, those are just so that students can earn extra cards to try and win. And then the boo cards are fun because there's nothing that they have to know. It's just a simple yes or no, and that can make it fun. So even if a student feels like, oh, I don't know these as well as I should, they still have a chance that a boo card is just going to be an easy to answer thing. So this one says, if you've ever gone through a corn maze, take a trick or treat card and give this card back to the teacher. And the ways that you can use these are in group lessons, As you saw in the previous review, they're very popular with group lessons. Private lessons, they are honestly just as fun to play with just you and a student, and it could be a really good way for you and a student to connect and have fun together and kind of lighten things up. You could use them in the classroom. If you have, let's say, less than 20 students, you could do it all together, or you could divide students up into groups and then have whoever the winner was in the first, if you had 3 groups, whoever the winner was out of each of those groups compete again with one another. Students get very into watching competitions like this amongst each other. You can also use it before a fall or a Halloween recital. It's a great way to get out some nervous energy, to have everyone playing a game together. And that way students are reminded that these are their peers. And again, you can use it for students that are elementary level all the way through intermediate. So all of your students can play a game together to help get those nerves out. You could also use them for a Halloween party if you have any Halloween parties, as a workshop icebreaker, because again, it's a game that covers all of the levels. And you can also use it the week of Halloween and include candy or a gift card for the winner, which is always very motivating for students. Like Wendy mentioned, there are the 3 levels for maximum flexibility. So you would just print out each level on a different color card. So your intermediate level students know that they're going to take the level 3 cards and maybe they're orange, and the level 2 students would know they need to take the purple cards, etc. And here's some examples of the actual intermediate level cards so you can see. For example, the Halloween riddle says, what do these 3 things have in common? Tritones, dotted half notes, the number of primary chords in a key. Or the theory cards are what notes make up an E augmented chord. So these are not going to be super easy, most likely, for your intermediate students. They're going to have to think about them, which is going to engage them more in the game, even if they're playing with younger students or students that are not at the same level as them. And there are 4 files that we've included to make printing easier. So we have a file, if your computer or your printer can handle front and back printing, that's great. If it can't, we have you covered on that too. My printer does not do front and back printing, and it was still very easy to get it printed out correctly. And I just printed on cardstock.